Beneath the surface of the Drake Passage lies a world almost no one has ever seen. A world far more terrifying than the storms above, the rogue waves, or the violent shaking that ships endure on the surface. Today we are descending into the deep, into the underwater landscape that makes the Drake Passage one of the most unpredictable and dangerous places on Earth. Before we dive in, a quick moment. We are pushing toward our first 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy these science-based ocean documentaries, please consider subscribing. It truly helps us create more episodes like this. The Drake Passage is famous for monster waves, chaotic ship motion, and brutal storms. But the real power of this place comes from something hidden. Its seafloor. Underneath these waters, the ocean floor is twisted, broken, and violently shaped by millions of years of tectonic activity. What looks like a simple channel on a map is, in reality, a deep and terrifying trench bordered by underwater mountains rising thousands of meters or thousands of feet from the seafloor. This region is part of a geological structure known as the Scotia Arc, a massive curved chain of underwater ridges and basins stretching nearly 3,000 kilometers, or almost 2,000 miles across the Southern Ocean. The Drake Passage sits right in the middle of this fractured zone, and this underwater landscape completely transforms how waves, currents, and storms behave above it. To understand the scale, imagine this. In some areas of the Drake Passage, the seafloor plunges from 500 meters, around 1,600 feet, to more than 4,000 meters, over 13,000 feet in just a few kilometers. A sudden drop like a cliff, a place where deep water rises sharply toward the surface. When powerful swells traveling across the Southern Ocean hit these steep underwater walls, they are forced upward. And when a wave is forced upward, it grows, it steepens, it becomes unstable. Some of the largest waves ever measured in this region were not created by the wind above, but by the shape of the world below. This is one of the reasons the Drake Passage produces so many rogue waves. Rogue waves are massive, unexpected walls of water, sometimes rising 20 to 30 meters high, 65 to 100 feet. But under the Drake Passage, the seafloor acts like a lens, focusing wave energy, redirecting it, and in some cases, stacking it. Deep ridges and basins bend waves into each other. Some amplify, some cancel out, and some merge suddenly into giant towering monsters. Ships encountering these waves report that they do not come from a single direction, but appear to rise from the ocean itself. The underwater ridges also interact with the Antarctic circumpolar current, the strongest current on Earth. This current circles the planet from west to east, moving up to 200 million cubic meters of water every second. That is more than 7 billion cubic feet. When this unstoppable flow hits the uneven bottom of the Drake Passage, something extraordinary happens. Water accelerates over the ridges, slows in the basins, and becomes turbulent in the narrow gaps between underwater peaks. These shifts create swirling eddies, vertical currents, and sudden pressure changes that reach all the way to the surface. This turbulence is one of the reasons why the Drake Passage rarely has calm days. Even when winds are low, the sea can feel alive, restless, and violently shifting. Captains often describe the movement here as unnatural, a constant heaving and rolling that has no rhythm. Beneath them, the seafloor is shaping the energy of the entire ocean above. One of the most terrifying features below the Drake Passage is the Shackleton Fracture Zone. It is an underwater fault line where tectonic plates grind against each other, forming tall submarine cliffs and deep fissures. Some of these cliffs rise more than 2,000 meters, over 6,000 feet from the seabed. When swells hit these structures, they split, refract, and collide in unpredictable ways. The surface becomes chaotic, filled with crisscrossing wave patterns that force ships to roll and pitch simultaneously. There are also deep bowl-shaped basins under the Drake Passage, some stretching hundreds of kilometers wide. These basins trap wave energy, allowing long swells to grow and reflect back toward the surface. When storms push waves into these underwater traps, the returning waves sometimes collide with incoming ones. This is how constructive interference happens. the exact process that builds rogue waves. The Drake Passage is one of the only places on Earth where this occurs daily. The seafloor also influences storms. As currents rush over underwater ridges, they create areas of upwelling, vertical jets of cold water rising toward the surface. These jets can strengthen storms above by increasing temperature contrast between air and sea. The combination of steep underwater cliffs, cold upwelling currents, and the constant flow of the Antarctic circumpolar current creates a perfect environment for storms to intensify rapidly. Sailors have reported storms that seem to appear out of nowhere, forming faster than expected simply because of what lies hidden beneath them. Even the shape of the Drake Passage contributes to its violence. The underwater landscape forms a massive bottleneck, forcing deep currents into a narrower space. When water is squeezed, it speeds up. When it speeds up, it becomes more chaotic. The chaotic flow then disturbs the surface, generating waves that do not match the direction of the wind. This is why ships often feel confused by the sea state here. Waves do not follow the wind. They follow the shape of the seafloor. Some scientists call the Drake Passage a wave amplifier. Others call it the engine room of the Southern Ocean. But the truth is more unsettling. This underwater landscape is like a living machine, constantly shaping, distorting, and magnifying the energy above. It is the unseen force responsible for the Drake shake, the rogue waves, and the terrifying storms. Most people imagine that the danger of the Drake Passage comes from the sky, the winds, the storms, the distance from land. But the real danger sleeps below. A broken world of underwater mountains and trenches that change the behavior of the entire ocean. A place where waves grow without warning, where currents twist violently, and where storms are born from the deep. This is why crossing the Drake Passage is never easy. Why even modern ships struggle. Why captains speak about it with respect and fear. Because while you can fight the wind and navigate the waves, you cannot escape the shape of the world beneath you. And in the Drake Passage, that world is more terrifying than anyone imagined.